Welcome to Just Learn Design and Development Training channel. Mastering SwiftUI, develop apps for Apple devices. Let us see what will you learn from this course. At the end of this series, you will understand what is the Swift programming language, what is SwiftUI framework, how to design interfaces basic to advanced, how to build apps for Apple devices, how to use Apple APIs. At the end, you will be able to design and develop real-world apps from simple to complex apps. Before jumping into the course, let us see basic requirements to continue this series. First, let us see who should learn this course. For example, if you want to develop apps for Apple platforms such as iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, Apple TV, you can learn this course. At the end, you will be able to design any kind of simple to complex apps for these devices. This course is for developers who want to learn modern user interface, designers who want to learn how to code in UI framework. Suppose you are the Android apps developers, you want to extend your knowledge or you want to change the technology from Android to iOS, you can learn this. Any graduates or freelancer, IT graduates who wanted to generate revenue from App Store can learn this course. Anyone who is interested in learning new programming language or new framework, you can watch this series. At the end, you will be able to develop very nice and excellent apps for Apple platforms. What is the knowledge you need? Learn SwiftUI. The knowledge required to learn SwiftUI depends on your level of experience with the programming. If you are a beginner, you will need to learn the basics of Swift before you can start learning SwiftUI. Swift is the programming language. SwiftUI is the framework that uses Swift language. However, if you already know Swift, you can start learning SwiftUI right away. But anyway, whether you are beginner or expert, this tutorial I will explain everything about the Swift and SwiftUI on the way of develop apps. So at the end, you will be able to become master in Swift programming language and SwiftUI. First, let us understand Swift and SwiftUI are two different things. Most of the people often confused with each other. Swift is a programming language, while SwiftUI is framework which is included within the Swift. That framework uses Swift to create user interface. This is the way you can differentiate Swift and SwiftUI. If you are very much interested in building apps for Apple's platform, then you should learn both Swift and SwiftUI. Swift is the foundation of SwiftUI and it is a valuable skill to have even if you don't plan on using SwiftUI. Swift is the best programming language available in the current world. Okay, next question. What do you need to develop SwiftUI apps? First, you must have a Mac computer. You cannot develop SwiftUI apps on Windows or Linux. You must have Mac computer or MacBook. If you are planning to buy a new Mac computer, first you must create Apple ID. Apple ID is a free account that you can create on Apple's website. You need an Apple ID to access and use many Apple services. You also need an Apple ID to sign in to your Apple devices and to make purchases from the iTunes Store and Apple Store. Last but not least, Apple ID is mandatory to test and deploy your apps in real devices such as iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch and Apple TV. Again, Xcode. Xcode is the Apple's integrated development environment, IDE, for macOS. It is used to develop apps for macOS, iOS, iPadOS, watchOS and tvOS. It is a very good tool which includes all the development requirements such as Swift compiler, SwiftUI framework and other tools. Then simulators. In case if you don't have any real devices to test your apps, you can use the Xcode simulators, which is the virtual devices where you can run and test your apps. Some pros and cons over there that we will see later. Then again you need Swift programming language. Swift programming language that Swift UI is built on. You will need to know Swift in order to develop Swift UI apps. At the end of this series, you will be able to develop complete real world apps for iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch and Apple TV. We will start with the simple apps development to very complex apps in this course. If you don't subscribe, please subscribe. Share this video. Write your comments whether it is positive or negative. It will enable me to fine tuning the channel. Stay connected. Thank you. See you on the next video.